Last time I saw you, we were in a swanky hotel in London, and here we are, 6 months later. Who could possibly have known what was going to happen? How's your life changed in that time?
Oh, it's dramatic, that's for sure. Had I pitched you a picture of our future in this last 6 months, we would have both laughed it off as a science fiction movie. And now we're having to meet via Zoom.
Last time we spoke, you said that you weren't at a stage to write anything new, certainly as far as an album was concerned. I'm guessing you've had lots of material over the last 6 months.
Yeah, hence the 2 new songs that I'd added to the record since I did see you last. Now I realized if I was going to write a topical record and then walk into the buzzsaw of COVID-19 and the George Floyd death, and the world kept going round, there was opportunity to continue my journey on the writing.
Talk to me about the George Floyd song. God damn those 8 long minutes, a lyric.
Painful song. With this whole album, I was witness to history, and that's my position. I'm not taking sides. I'm just feel like I'm a reporter. And in retrospect, when I came up with the album title 2020, it was really meant to be tongue-in-cheek. And there was a wryness and a cute bumper sticker and a t-shirt. But as events started to unfold and I started to really focus on that writing, one thing led to another, and I said, no, this is now a snapshot of my life and the history that I witnessed. And so whether I lived it or read it or watched it, these are the events that unfolded. So when I, in lockdown, saw the videotape that the rest of the world saw of the death of George Floyd, I was moved. Maybe it's because we were in lockdown and couldn't go anywhere else, or maybe the quality of the video and the audio being right there for all of us to witness. If that didn't move you, I just questioned your sense of humanity.
I wonder if it's made us more aware of each other during lockdown. I know you talk about me, not we, and whether we've changed our attitude now when we're more we, not just me. What do you think we need to do to look after each other better?
Well, for instance, as it pertains to mental health issues, don't stigmatize them. And so as we work in our foundation, for example, with the homeless and those who end up hungry as as typically a result of that, when the general public don't take the time to think, they say, well, he could just go get a job, or she could just get off the street. Well, sometimes when mental illness issues come into play, we have to remember that, and not stigmatizing them is a step in the right direction. So people don't aspire to have mental illness. They don't aspire to be homeless or hungry. And when we realize that these things are issues that we can control through healthcare and assistance, i.e. foundations that provide food or shelter, we as a people will only be better for it.
How has lockdown changed for you personally, though, as a family man? Have you found that you've been able to have more time with your wife and children?
Yeah, like everyone else, being forced into lockdown and not having anywhere to run off to gave you more time with yourself. And so for those who survived it and were able to still have food on the table and shelter, it was a reset button. And some good things came out of it, opportunities to get in touch with those around you or with yourself. Those who lost their jobs or lost their health or lost their lives, they were affected in a dramatic way, and we can't forget that. In America, we've lost 200,000 people and counting. It's criminal. But, so you have to remember that too. This is serious.
What do you put that down to? We blame in part our government for the way that they dealt with certain aspects of coronavirus. What do you do in the US?
Well, I don't want to just point fingers of blame because it seems too easy. And in fairness, the needle was moving wear a mask, don't wear a mask, travel, don't travel, total lockdown, don't lock down. And then it got to a place where we're politicizing a mask. That's wrong. That was just, that is wrong. If a mask was going to stop the spread, if for nothing else than respect of your neighbor and your friend, you have a little piece of cloth on your nose, it's not a big deal. It's not a great sacrifice.
I think wearing a face mask as I greet presidents, prime ministers, dictators, kings, queens, I don't know, somehow I don't see it for myself. Maybe I'll change my mind.
This president long ago forfeited any moral leadership in this country. He can't stop the violence because for years he's fomented it.
How do you feel about Biden?
I feel good. I feel good. You know, he's an experienced man of the world who, as our vice president and a senator from the state of Delaware, has served the country for probably close to 50 years now. I've spoken to him recently, and I found him to be engaging and on topic and caring. So I feel okay about it.
You said you spoke to him recently. What about?
I had done a fundraiser. I'd sung a couple songs on a Zoom. So, you know, it was that kind of a simple engagement. You know, you see him on television and both candidates are doing their thing. They're preaching their gospel. And the American public's got a tough decision because the future of the country and its reflection on the world rely on it.
How are you going to feel if we get 4 more years of President Trump?
That's a nice house you've got there. Was there anything available in the neighborhood? I was just wondering, asking for a friend, you know.
What's your plan for election night? Popcorn and watching the telly till late?
I think you should refer to it, and I'll give you a little tip, as election week. It's not going to be election night. I think that's becoming more evident with every day. So get used to being here for a while. My prediction is that you don't call a winner that night. But where will I be? Yeah, I'll be glued to the TV and watching what happens between now and then.
You mean it's going to be too close to call?
I just don't think everything will be in. We're going to rely on these mail-in ballots. 5 states that have never done it before, New Jersey as being one of them, is going to rely on that.
As an entertainer, do you feel the weight of responsibility weighing heavy on your shoulders? We're looking to you to lift the mood when we can finally go out again and potentially go to a rock concert or wherever.
I don't know that it's a responsibility, but every artist has the opportunity to bear witness to history and to record pages of the lives that we are collectively living. You know, when I wrote Do What You Can, I wrote it simply on an acoustic guitar and performed it that way on a little Zoom telethon here in New York and New Jersey. But I knew how to make it into a record, and the record is big and optimistic and a Bon Jovi kind of an anthem. And it brings that sense of optimism back. So what I'm hoping is that in a year or two from now, when I do get to perform it, people will look back on this moment, remember that coming together. If you can't do it, you do what you can. And then there will be kind of that reflective joy looking back on it, you know, in our rearview mirror.
When you do your next concert, when you do your next gig, you want to do some of the new stuff. Which ones will you do? You want to do some of the old stuff. Which ones will you do?
You know, the old ones I'm expected to do. And I understand that. When I'm a fan of a band, I want to hear the hits too. You know, the hits are what got us there, but I'm just adding to that arsenal. You know, and the new record, I would hope to play as many songs as I possibly could. I'm as excited about playing the songs on 2020 as I would be to break out the hits.
Last time we spoke, you had just organised to see Harry.
We are very sad to lose him here in the United Kingdom, and he's been getting a pretty rough ride. Any thoughts on that?
Well, you know, who are we to comment until you walk in his shoes?
He and I were actually slated to do something here in New York that had been postponed and then rescheduled and now postponed yet again. So who knows if it'll ever happen at this point. But it was around veterans.
My buddy Pete Townsend, you may have heard of him. He sends his regards.
Wow, I'm just pleased he even knows who I am. That's
He certainly does. And he's still rocking. He's still looking forward to going on tour with The Who next year in the United States. You hoping to still be going when you're Pete's age?
God bless Pete and Roger. You know, I wish that all of those guys and Jagger and Richards would quit for one reason. At least I would know where the end zone was. I've been chasing them my whole career. 37 years into it, they're not slowing down, and they've been at it for 50 plus years. I just want to know where the end zone is so I can take a nap.